What's going on, guys? Cassie from Jeep Gear and Gadgets, and welcome back to the channel. I am in the garage tonight working on the LS swap. Now, in my last video, I got the Jeep engine out of the Jeep, and the goal of this video is to actually get the V8 over here mounted in the Jeep on the engine bay, or in the engine, well, as if I'd mount it anywhere else. Now, so the goal of this video is to get that in and get that done. Now, there are so many steps we have to go through before we can actually get to that point, and I didn't really want to drag out this part of the video series, so we're just gonna jump right on into it tonight. Let's get started. I've talked a lot about the engine, but I haven't talked much about the transmission. This transmission came with the engine. It's the 4L60E. It's a 4-speed transmission, and it came in a lot of the Silverados and Silverados and Suburbans. It's a decent transmission. Some people had some issues with them, but this is going to be going in a very lightweight Jeep, so I don't think I'm gonna have any problems with it. Now, I do have to do some modifications to this transmission to work for this swap, but before I can do any of that, there is some crack in the bell housing I need to take care of. And by that, I mean, there's a big old crack right here. No idea what happened to it, but let's get this bell housing changed out. I got a, well, new to me, so I used one off of eBay, so we need to swap this before I can get going any further. Got the old one off. Time to get the new one on. Now, if any of you do actually have to do this, you do need a special Torx bit. It is the Torx Plus 50, and it's also a good idea to go ahead and heat up all the bolts on there too. So let's get this new one on so I can keep going. Now that that's done, we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of how I'm gonna get this transmission to work with my Jeep Transfercase. So let's turn this thing around without dropping it off the table. This Chevy output is not going to bolt up to my Jeep Transfercase, and that is where advanced adapters comes into play. They make a bunch of really cool adapters and really cool stuff that connects one really cool thing to another really cool thing that wouldn't normally go together. They also make a bunch of products for Jeep Wrangler LS swaps. Before I go into detail, let's get this transmission tail housing off of here. And this time I'm going to put a bucket under it so I don't bleed transmission fluid all over the freaking floor. But wait, there's more! Power steering fluid. I can't win. I got my bucket ready. I'm not gonna spill transmission fluid. Oh, wait, I'll rephrase. Ben is not gonna let me spill transmission
I'm not
fluid.
spilling it this time. I have not touched that. So if you spill it, it's on you. I'll be the bucket boy though.
Bucket boy.
Watch, it's not gonna even leak out.
That's how it goes though. Whenever you prep for it, it doesn't happen.
Exactly.
It's unexpected.
Unexpected. It's like mess.
Hold on. This is not woman loose, okay? Couple more. Or watch, they already drained all the transmission fluid.
Are you serious?
There are 3 major issues when trying to use the Chevy transmission with my Jeep Transfercase.
Hold up. If this was a Ford transmission, there'd be about 25 problems with it.
That was good. That was good. Now, advanced adapters solves all 3 of these issues. Now, what are those issues? So the first one, the bolt patterns are different. They don't line up. Advanced adapters solves that. The second issue is that the spline count on the transmission and the Transfercase are different. The transmission has the output spline count of 27, and the Transfercase has an output of 23. Advanced adapters also solves that. The third issue is the vehicle speed sensor. Now, the engine computer needs to know how fast the vehicle is going in order to control the engine and control the shift points in the transmission. The Chevys have the speed sensor in the Transfercase, but we're not using that here. So Advanced Adapters solves this and allows us to have the speed sensor inside of the transmission, which is pretty cool. With that being said, it's time to get this thing installed. We got our instructions over here, and the first step we're gonna do is put on the tone ring in the first part of the adapter. And that looks good. So the goal was to get that tone ring centered where the sensor is gonna go. And now that it's done, we can go ahead and clamp it down and then bolt this on. Advanced Adapter sends a new VSS sensor, so what we're gonna do is put some blue Loctite on it, line it up in one of the holes, and tighten it down until we're at about 10 to 12 thousandths air gap. And finally, we're gonna install our 4 studs with a little bit of blue Loctite and then put on the transfer case side of the adapter. And we are finished with the transmission. Now earlier I mentioned 27 spline versus 23 spline, so I still need to install the 27 spline on the transfer case side to line up with the 27 spline on the transmission side. However, that is going to be for another video. Now there is one other option from Advanced Adapters, and that is the 23 spline kit. That kit is gonna change your transmission output to 23 spline, and there are some benefits to that. It's shorter for you TJ guys, and it's also stronger. However, it does require you to take your transmission to a shop because they have to tear it down and change this output shaft to the 23 spline. Now, the 27 kit that I have, the benefit of this one is that we don't have to do that because we're changing the transfer case side. And that side we can do right here in the garage at home, and it won't take us that long. And with the transmission done, it is time to get over to the motor mounts. When it comes to motor mounts, there are a ton of options out there on the market. I was gonna run the Advanced Adapters motor mounts. They've been around for a long time. Tons of people are running them and they're very good. However, they do require a minimum 4-inch lift, and that's because they like to set the engine nice and low to have a better center of gravity. I have a 3-inch lift. I really would like to keep it that way, and I don't plan on changing it in the future. So I'm gonna go with the Holley motor mounts. They're new, I don't know anyone running them, and they're supposed to work with 0 suspension lift. So I have them right over here in this box. The kit comes with 2 brackets. We're gonna have to weld these on. It also comes with the mounts that go on the engine side that attach right here on the engine block. The kit comes with instructions. We're gonna go ahead and get started on the first step, and that is going to be cutting our current motor mounts that are attached to the frame. So we measured based on the instructions. I'm gonna go grab the Sawzall and get to cutting. One bracket down, one more to go. Got both of those off. Now it's time to test fit our brackets. I'm gonna come over here and grab one of our new brackets, and also we're gonna have to grind down, like as we see necessary as we put these on. Looks like they fit pretty good. The next step is gonna be grinding down some of the spots along the frame that we're eventually going to weld to, and then we're probably gonna bolt these on and just kind of test fit the engine. Let's take a look at these mounts. Now, they were not a perfect fit. I did have to grind a little bit on the frame side and on the bracket side, but they are in here very well now. I went ahead and bolted them down because it is finally time to test fit the engine. That is right, the moment I think all of us have at least been waiting for, is to see this thing lowered into the LJ at minimum. So we are going to go and bolt on this transmission to the engine that we already have over here on the hoist, and then I'm going to lower it into the Jeep for the first time and kind of test fit and see how the mounts and everything lines up with the engine. I'm pretty excited. I'm not gonna hold out anymore, so I'm gonna put the GoPro down and let's get going. We are so close. I've got the engine hoisted up over here. However, I forgot one very important step. So in the engine bay, there's plenty of room for the inline 6. However, for the V8, this corner sticks out just a little bit too far. So I need to go grab a hammer, hammer it in, and then it'll be time to drop this thing in.
I heard like all your bones pop right there.
Getting old.
I think we have a big sledgehammer. Let me grab it.
Of course, he says, brings out the big sledgehammer when he taps me out.
Wait. All right, Cassie. Swing. All right, Cassie. You want to play with the big boys? Swing the hammer of Thor.
is heavier than I do. Wait.
Dude, that's working good though.
You were saying?
I'm gonna hold the fuel lines out of the way so you can
Leave this one down here, Hill. Just a wee bit.
Please don't hit me.
Whoa.
Whoa. Oh. How much does this thing weigh?
A lot. Now that I'm exhausted, it's time to lower the engine in. It is with a heavy heart that I have to inform you guys.
And a heavy hammer.
Motor will not be going in tonight, unfortunately. So ran into a couple of hiccups over here. Basically, we need more depth, which we cannot get any more depth with this hoist, and we kind of need a steeper angle. I think we could have gotten a more steeper angle, but it wouldn't solve our depth problem we're having. We can't push the engine in anymore. And if you're looking at the camera, duh. All right.
If you're looking at the camera,
if you're looking at this video, the motor mounts, they're sitting right here, and the motor mounts on the engine side are way up here. So we have a pretty long ways we need to go, and we need to keep going at a steeper angle because we are just bumping into the transmission right now. I mean, you can kind of see the
where
lines.
it's hitting.
I don't know if I can get that on camera, but so we have a couple problems here. Tomorrow, we're gonna run to Harbor Freight, probably get a 2-ton hoist.
Yeah.
This is a 1-ton hoist. We think about, we gotta go do a little bit of research and see if that'll give us the height we need. So no more, we can't go any further tonight.
No.
Gotta pull her out.
I mean, luckily for them, it's gonna be 5 seconds away. For us, it's a whole day.
All right, guys, we'll be back. We are back. We replaced our 1-ton hoist with a 2-ton hoist, and this has given us that additional depth that we needed to really get the engine in here and get the mounting brackets all lined up. So we're gonna lower it in just a second and see what we can get done. However, while the engine was hanging in the air like this, I realized a couple videos back when I had the intake off, people were asking me what I was going to do with my knock sensors. So I've got some knock sensor relocation brackets from ICT Billet. As you can tell, I've got one on each side of the engine. So that is where those are gonna be. They're much easier to get here. They're much easier to get to down here. So those have been relocated, taken care of, done. Now it's time to lower this baby in and get her in the Jeep. Check her out. The motor is in. Let me tell you, the way these motor mounts are in there, this thing is a pain in the butt to get in. There's one angle it'll go in, and that's it. We ended up having to take the intake off because it was starting to hit this bracket right here. So took the intake off, but we ended up getting it in there finally after multiple tries after you just saw. Now, the only thing that looks a little concerning right now is the alternator. She's sitting a little high. She's sitting higher than the fuse box over there. So one thing I want to check is to put the hood down and make sure the alternator clears. And if that happens, I'm good to go ahead and tack weld my motor mounts in and set them. And this is where the baby's gonna sit. This is where the engine is going to be. But not being that smart, we put the hood up, right? And then we pushed the Jeep back. So right now, I can't close the hood. So we've got the transmission strapped in under here, and we're gonna push the Jeep forward, close the hood. If she closes, we're gonna move on to tack welding the mounts, motor mounts.
You think it's gonna fit?
I really hope it's gonna fit. If not, we're moving the hood because,
No.
I'm just kidding. We'll move the transmission up a little bit and.
If it doesn't fit, we're ditching these mounts.
We're
They already gave us enough issues.
All right, let's see if it fits. All right, Ben, show them. Close the hood. And dun. She fits. You probably can't see that way up there, but she's got like an inch of clearance.
I'd say 1.5 inches.
Inch and a half. So plenty of room under there. The alternator is good, which means it is time to tack weld the motor mounts. And then after we tack weld them, we're gonna have to pull the engine out so we can really get in there and weld them completely to the frame. I'd say
Then put it right back in.
Then put it right back in. Yes, it's gonna be great. We're at like the final steps for like getting this thing into the Jeep and it's staying and not having to take it out anymore. So we're gonna get that tack welded and then come back out tomorrow morning probably.
And let them admire it. It looks good.
All right, guys, here's a view.
It doesn't look as cool without the intake.
It doesn't. Yeah, we'll have to put that on.
But there is plenty of room.
It's gonna look so good, but I mean, it already looks good, but it's only gonna get better.
Oh.
Better to look at, easy on the eyes.
You ready to tack weld this?
I am, and then I'm getting a little hangry, guys. So after that, it's time to go outside. Ready? 3, 2, 1, blast off.
She ain't going anywhere.
Perfect. She's in there, not going anywhere. Did like extra tack welds on there.
It's those extra tack welds.
It's
It's
like
halfway welded in at this point.
So we've made a lot of progress in this video, guys. We started out like the transmission wasn't even bolted on the engine. So we have modified the transmission. We have put the engine in the Jeep. At this point, we still have so much to do. I still need to modify the transfer case. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna go with a slip yoke eliminator. So there's a lot of LS Swap videos yet to come. Now, everything I used in this video is in the video description below, so go check it out if you have any questions about them or you're curious about what I was using. Now, I do have a question for you guys that is completely off topic. So as you can tell, old beauty here is in dire need of a paint job. Now, I'm kind of like going back and forth. I don't know if I should just take it to a shop and get her painted. And if I do that, what color should I go with? Should I attempt to do it by myself with Ben, so ourselves, and at home in the garage, because that would be a fun project, or like go with like a Raptor liner, one of the textured liners, which you can do at home by yourself as well. So let me know in the comments what you've done, what you think we should do, what you think would look good on her.
Pink.
Not happening. Not my favorite color. Maybe red. I think I want to stick with red. I don't really know. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. As always, guys, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. My name's Cassie, and keep Jeeping classy.